We're starting section 3, factoring trinomials. So first thing I want to do, what is a trinomial?
Triple threat factor.
Yeah,
Triple threat. Nice.
Just like me, Scott, and Drayson's class.
Okay, a trinomial. So the tri means 3. 3 what?
Three factors.
Three
Polynomials. Wait,
No, a trinomial is a polynomial. It has 3 terms.
Three sides.
And the nomial.
So generally, when you have 3 terms, it's gonna be a trinomial, and there's a method for factoring trinomials if it follows a certain pattern. The first thing that I'm gonna do is we need to review just real quickly. So this isn't gonna be factoring, but this is stuff that you guys have already done.
Wait, this is the thing that you showed us last night. Well, yesterday in class.
What did he show you?
He showed all of us.
We did last night.
Yeah, he worked.
So I'm gonna start out multiplying. So this isn't factoring. Factoring is like the opposite of this. Okay, but I have 2 binomials being multiplied together here. So how do we multiply those?
Foil.
Yeah, FOIL, which is first, outer, inner, last. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So first, multiply x times x.
X squared.
Okay, outer. 5x. So put plus 5x.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Inner
2x.
and last.
10.
Okay, and after that, what could we do?
Like the ones with the same.
Yeah, we call that combining like terms. So if you're combining like terms, 2x plus 5x.
Is that a trinomial?
Yep. So that, if we were foiling, that would be your answer. We've already done this, right? You guys all remember that? Okay. So factoring is basically the opposite of this process. So factoring is going to take a trinomial like this and break it apart into 2 groups. Okay. So we basically have to reverse that process. Now, there's a couple things I want to look at here that are going to help us with this, because we don't have. It's actually going to be a little bit easier. Look at the 2 numbers that we had here. Okay. So we're going to be trying to find these 2 sets of parentheses. Okay. And I just want to look at these 2 numbers. So we've got 2 and 5. Notice if I multiply those 2, it's this, right?
Yep.
And if I add them, it's the middle term. That's where we combined like terms, right?
Yep.
That's why we did the sum and product puzzles yesterday. You're going to be looking for 2 numbers that multiply to be this number and add to be the middle number.
That's good.
Okay, so if I'm trying to factor a trinomial like this, what I pretty much start out doing every time is I will put my 2 groups of parentheses, just to kind of start organizing it. Okay. And then you kind of have to think the FOIL process in your head. So these first 2 things multiply to be x squared, right? If I multiply the first, I should get that. Okay. So that tells me what these 2 things have to be. If I want to multiply something times something and get x squared, the only thing that can be is x and x, right? Okay. X times x is x squared. Okay. Now I need the 2 numbers that go here. And those 2 numbers I usually start with the multiplying. They multiply to be 15, and we'll have to add to be 8. So I'm going to focus on that multiply to be 15 part.
3, 5.
Yeah, because if you need to, you can list out all the factors of 15. But there's a pair there that works, right, that adds to 8. 3 and 5? Okay.
Mhm.
So if we need two positive numbers, put +3 and +5. Okay. And then, just to be sure, you can check your answers. So, and that's you're going to do through foiling. So if I foil, the first is
X squared,
x squared, the outer
5x,
and the inner,
3,
and the last.
15.
Okay, so that outer and the inner is what you're really going to have to check because the outer was 5x plus 3x. Is that going to get you this?
No.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. What?
Scott, what do you, come on.
3x does not equal 8x.
Okay, so same thing here. I'm going to set up my two sets of parentheses. Okay. And the first thing in each parentheses always is going to have to multiply to be this. So that, in this case, is just going to be a times a. That's how you get the a squared. Okay. And these numbers have to multiply to be 20, so that's what's going to narrow it down, but they also have to add to be 12. Okay. So that's where you're going to go through your factors of 20, but find a pair that adds to be 12.
10 and 2.
10 and 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and tell you guys, it doesn't matter the order that you put them in. So if you put a plus 2 over here and then a plus 10 over there, it's not going to matter. But you can check it. So if we multiply this out, what's the first?
A squared.
Okay, a squared, that works. The outer,
2a.
2a. The inner,
10a.
okay, so I'm going to stop right there. The outer and the inner. So 2a plus 10a, does that work?
Yes.
Okay, you guys see what I'm doing there? Adding them together. And then the last, 20. Yep, and there we go. Okay. All right, so the only thing different here is we're going to start dealing with some of the negatives, but you guys should be able to remember some of the process and know how we need to set this up. So I know it's going to be two sets of parentheses. Okay. Scott?
Is that a J or a D?
It's a J. Okay. So I'm going to start with the first thing in my parentheses, which has to multiply to be this. So what do I need to put here? J. Okay. And I know my two numbers have to multiply to be 2. Okay. They have to multiply to be a positive 2. So what type of numbers do I need?
Negative.
Okay. They also have to add to be -3. Okay. So think about your factors of 2. 1 and 2, right? That's it. Okay. Can one of them be negative, one of them be positive?
Nope.
Well, if I had one negative, one positive, they would multiply to be a negative number, right? Okay. So that means they have to both be negative. Okay. So
Does it matter the order you put them in?
it does not.
In there. All right.
Okay. No, the order that you put them here does not matter. So you can check it. Is -2 times -1 positive 2? Okay. If you add them, do you get -3? Okay. All right, so we should already know how to start it. So put your parentheses. What has to go in the first spot? In. Okay. And then they have to, I need my two numbers to multiply to be 24 and add to be -14. Okay. So to multiply to be positive 24,
12 and 2.
okay, what signs do I need?
Minus 12,
Negative.
minus 2.
Okay. Negative on both.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have two negative numbers to multiply to be a positive, and then also add to be negative. Okay, and you can check your answer using foiling. Okay, so you're going to start out the same way. So set up your parentheses. Okay, I know the first thing in each parenthesis has to be x to multiply to be x squared. But then my two numbers have to multiply to be negative 10.
One of them should be negative.
Yep, so you need one positive, one negative. Okay,
And
that's
we're gonna go with the 5 should be negative.
okay. And then they have to add to be negative 3. So yeah, you want the bigger number to be negative, that way the sum is negative. So if you wanted to list them all out,
5 and 2, wouldn't it?
it would be, 5 and 2. Which one needs to be negative?
The 5.
5.
So it's going to be 2 and negative 5. Doesn't matter which one goes where. Okay. Everybody all right with that? All right. So we should be able to get that much. Looking at that last number, if they have multiply to be negative 12, what signs do I need, Drayson?
You need at least one to be, no, you need both to be negative. No, one to be negative.
You need one of them to be negative. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they add up to be positive 4, which one needs to be bigger?
This. Whatever, the bigger number. I'm not sure. I just solved the problem, I don't know anything.
Oh, not
I
plus
was gonna
4.
say change that before you.
Yep.
you know.
There we go. Okay. So if I need two numbers that multiply to be a positive number, like 10, you might, if you're really struggling with that, you might just write out you either need two positive numbers or two negative numbers. Okay? To multiply to be a positive number, two positives, two negatives, two of the same. Okay? If you're going to multiply to be a negative number, then the only thing that you can have is one of each. Okay? And that's where I would start with every time. So if you look at the product, which is that last number in the trinomial, if it's positive, you either need two positive numbers or two negatives. And if it's negative, you need one of each.